If you don't deal with it, you can't heal it.
I'm Dottie Peoples, and you're watching Branching Out.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gloria Govan from Bass Wives LA, and you just caught me on Branching Out.
Hi, we're the Braxtons, and you're watching Branching Out.
You are watching Branching Out.
Wow, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, hey, it's Blair Under. We're watching Branching Out.
So that Bobby Jones and I'm branching out for real.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Branch now.
And I'm just excited to be back to celebrate the 20th anniversary.
This September, you are hosting your second annual Voice Your Invisible Wound Conference. Tell me about that conference and how did you come about it?
Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference is an annual event of local, national, and international speakers. And as you stated, it will be held this year on 25th through 26th at the Conference Center. And so we began the Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference basically as a theme and a way to get all of the survivors together on one platform to come together.
What is your mission?
Our mission is to help survivors heal the wounds that can't be seen. As I stated, you can walk outside and put on the mask and put on your makeup and just go outside like everything's okay. But what people don't understand is there are wounds on the inside that you do not deal with. And I tell people all the time, if you don't deal with it, you can't heal it. And so with that, we are helping you deal with the wounds that can't be seen. Survivors with Voices' mission is to help those survivors, get past the hurt, the pain, and all of that that's been bottled up on the inside, and really start off with a fresh healing. Understanding that what you've been through doesn't have to define who you are. Your past does not have to dictate your future. I started Survivors with Voices Foundation about 4 years ago. And the backstory to that is I was actually dealing with being sexually abused. I was sexually abused at the age of 11, but I never dealt with it. It was something that, my mother allowed a gentleman to come into our home and rent the basement of our home. And with that, he basically stole my innocence. And so for a long time, I blamed my mother for allowing the abuse to happen because I felt like she didn't protect me. But in turn, it was swept under the rug. We never dealt with it or dealt with it ever again. So with that, I held on to that inside for 23 years. And that caused a lot of mischief in my life. And what I mean by that is I started being close and looking for older men to be in a relationship with because I felt like once I was abused and, being taken advantage of and sexual intercourse was all that men wanted from me. And so I didn't love myself enough to know that I deserved more. So I basically went through a lot of failed relationships, became very promiscuous. But in addition to that, I got married to a man for the wrong reasons. And I never dealt with being sexually abused. And so I was actually connected to an organization, Life of Hope After Abuse. And I was listening to this lady tell her testimony of being sexually abused. And of course, I'm listening to her, but I'm thinking about my abuse, and it resonated with me. And so as I started participating more and more in the organization, she had an event, and she asked me to speak at the event. And with that, I had to really resurface all of those suppressed memories of being sexually abused. And I can remember just sharing my story that I was crying and just reliving those moments. And as I was doing that, and I was sharing the story, and I was reliving those moments of being sexually abused and being upset with my mother and how many years I lost with her trying to make her pay for my abuse. But what I finally realized is I wanted my mother to go back to the past and save me. So I held her at an impossible task of really wanting to go back to the past, and I never let it go. And so with that, I had to deal with that. And once I shared my story and I was done, I felt a weight lifted off of me. And I can remember a young lady walking up to me and telling me, if I wasn't speaking to anybody in the room, I was speaking to her, because she had been sexually abused. And just sharing my story just really helped her, that she was going to actually commit suicide that day. But I gave her the hope to live. And that resonated with me. And so I wanted to create a platform of where people come together, whether any survivor with whatever you're going through can share their testimony and their story, that you might be the person sitting in front of a crowd sharing your story, and that person comes up to you and say, hey, because of you I didn't give up, and because of you I didn't kill myself. And so that was big for me, and that's how Survivors with Voices was born. And so 2 years into the foundation, we did monthly meetings where survivors come in a setting, and we're teaching them, and we're sharing our stories, and we're supporting each other and helping each other come through. And so I wanted to do it on a larger scale, and that's how Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference came about, because as I started working with the survivors and learning about how people dealt with so many things on the inside, and that meant like guilt, shame, hurt and pain, and just how I can help them heal the wounds that can't be seen, because of course, you know, those wounds are naked to the visible eye. And so that's how Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference came about, to get everybody in one platform on an annual basis to share their testimony on a larger scale and understand that they can definitely move past their circumstances and deal with the past to get past it, to start a new path of healing, to move forward in your life. Because a lot of times people are stagnated with their past, or stagnated with what they're doing because they haven't let go, they haven't forgiven to move forward, to enjoy life. So I always tell people, you want to live life and not let life live you.
What's the most rewarding part about your conference?
The most rewarding part about my conference for me is seeing people share their stories. But then ultimately they walk away starting a new path of healing. This conference, Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference, is built to help restore and support those survivors who need it. I want people to take away from this conference to know that their story is not for them. It's for somebody else going through. And I tell people all the time, the fruit is never for the tree. And so with that, you got to understand that your story is not for you, but it's for that person that might be going through at that time, or has been through that situation, your similar story, and need to know how to get through.
2015, what else can we look forward to from you?
You can look forward to more books, more speaking engagements, and additionally, what I want to do and what my vision is to have different Voice Your Invisible Wound conferences in different cities. And with that, we already have 3 chapters. We have a Houston, Texas chapter, we have a Columbus, Ohio chapter, and we have a Orlando, Florida chapter. And we are opening another chapter in Atlanta, Georgia. And so with that, we want to do different city chapters, and we want to touch survivors on a worldwide standpoint. And so with that, my vision is that we will hold these conferences in different cities and states.
If someone needed to contact you, where could we find you?
You can actually find me at our website at www.survivorswithvoices.com. And so there are contact pages, and I manage those personally because, you know, what we do is very personal stuff that people submit, is, you know, as far as stories and things like that. So they all directly come to me. I don't have anybody on my team handle that because I want to respond personally. Do not, and I repeat, do not be afraid to unlock your voice and share your truth. Speak your truth even if your voice shakes. And I tell people all the time, because I can remember standing up and telling my testimony the first time, and my voice was shaking. But I was standing in my truth. We are definitely also on Facebook and on Twitter. But also, if you want to learn more about the conference, you can learn more about the conference at www.VYIWconference.com. And those initials stand for Voice Your Invisible Wounds. So you can definitely connect with us there. We definitely have information on that website as well about the conference and the foundation and what we're doing in the community. And as I mentioned previously, we will actually be starting in October doing virtual meetings, and that means that survivors all around the world can call into this one conference number that we have, and we can do it virtually if you're not in a city where we have a chapter at.
Thank you so
You are
much.
so welcome. That when they come, they will not leave the same. And once they come, we hope that they stay connected with us throughout the year to make it, a monthly life-changing event. We just don't want you to come to the annual conference and just say, hey, that's it. We want you to grow a relationship with other survivors. It's a family that we have built with this platform of survivors, and that where we often call each other if we're going through something, because we all have triggers. And what I mean by triggers is that one situation that happens in your life that makes you and reminds you of your past.
Right.
And so those triggers, you want to have accountability partners. You want to have a support person that you can reach out to. And so with us taking this platform, nationwide and having survivors in different cities, that's a platform and a support system that you can have, not just in Houston, Texas, but if you go to Atlanta or if you go to New York, you can connect with survivors all around the world. And so we're definitely doing our part and working really hard to get our foundation out there to bring in more survivors so we can support each other.
Okay. So is this conference on September the 25th, 26th? Would that be in Houston, Texas?
That would be in Houston, Texas, but hey, I told you before, Cherie, we are trying to go city to city with this thing, and so we are looking at next year, planning out the vision where we can have a Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference in Atlanta, Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference in LA, and in New York, and so we are looking at different cities and states. So definitely, if there's anybody out there that wants to bring Voice Your Invisible Wounds Conference to their city and state, reach out to us. We are willing to come, because there are survivors everywhere that need to know that they're not alone, and that there is healing, and there's a platform out there to help you do it.